This is a fascinating one because it's not often we get to actually see how electric motors are actually designed inside rather than just guessing about it. Sandy Munro and his team at Munro Associates in the US have been tearing down the latest EVs, including a Tesla Cybertruck motor and one from the Chevy Equinox EV. And the differences between them, they're brilliant to see them and reconcile them side by side. So let's jump into it. Hello folks. My name is Ben Alexander. Thank you so much to all the new subscribers. The channel's basically doubled in size in the last few months. I really appreciate the support, the people that have bought me a coffee, Patreon supporters, the YouTube members, and anybody on screen if you're a subscriber or you're watching. So now, I didn't interview Sandy Munro personally, but I've been following his work closely for quite a long time, and if you care about how things are actually engineered inside, and such as for example, if you look under the back chassis of the BYD Shark, you can see that they've actually welded in very long, very thick extra plates to give it extra side impact protection for the BYD Shark. You can find things out like that, and I think that's one of the good things about his channel. He spent decades taking vehicles apart piece by piece, and his breakdowns show you basically what is really happening under the surface, not basically marketing spiel or anything like that, or even just speculation. So Munro's engineers recently compared the cooling systems used in Teslas and General Motors electric motors, and it's a great example of how two companies can solve the same problem in completely different ways. So let's start with GM's approach, specifically with the Equinox EV motor. Paul Turnbull from Munro's team explained that the GM setup is very clever in its simplicity. Instead of using complicated plumbing and external pumps or anything like that, they let the motor itself do the cooling. As the gears spin, they fling oil upwards into small cast channels. The oil then drains back down across the windings and the magnets and casings, cooling everything in a single loop. It's a very elegant design because it doesn't rely on anything like separate pumps or plumbing or anything drawing power from the battery, and there are fewer parts to break, so that's a very, very good thing. It's very cheap to produce, obviously, it's easy to assemble, and it uses basic physics. Apparently, Toyota used a similar trick in the old Prius C, and GM has just refined it for more modern EV use. So there are a few limitations with that design because it depends on the motor's rotation. The oil only circulates properly when the motor is spinning. So if you're stationary in traffic or sitting on a hill, the oil is not really moving, and during aggressive driving like track driving or high-speed acceleration, the oil rainfall pattern can shift, missing some hot spots on the motor. So that's obviously an issue, but who's driving a Prius flat out? I might have done that once in Germany, actually, but most people don't do that. The Equinox motor spins around 10,000 RPM, so any imbalance in oil flow at that speed could affect cooling. So for context, the fastest EV motors in the world can reach roughly 27 or 30,000 if you've got the new BYD Yangwang, for example, that's 30,000. So the Equinox system is working within its comfort zone, but it's not built for racing or heavy loads. Tesla does things differently. Tesla uses a high pressure pump to push oil through tiny channels that precisely target the motor's hottest parts. Obviously it works more, it's a more powerful motor, and the windings and the magnets. And this allows Tesla to keep key components cooler while letting the outer casing run hotter on purpose. That might sound odd, but it's actually very, very clever. By letting the casing heat up, Tesla increases its electrical resistance, which helps reduce eddy currents, which are the tiny whirlpools of electricity that waste energy inside electric motors. So eddy currents happen every single time the magnetic field flips as the motor spins, and they cause extra heat and a little bit of drag. By keeping the casing warm, Tesla reduces those losses slightly, improving efficiency without needing exotic materials or anything like that, which is brilliant. That's one reason Tesla can use cheaper magnets and still achieve outstanding efficiency, and Teslas are obviously well known for being very, very efficient. The trade-off is that their setup is more complex, a little bit more heavy. It needs machining, basically, and for those precise oil passages, for example, or extra plumbing and a dedicated pump that draws some power from the battery. Overall, it delivers better thermal control and can work when the vehicle's not moving, and higher sustained efficiency, especially when it's under load, like going up hills or towing or something like that, which is of course important for a Cybertruck. GM's method, by contrast, is mechanical and self-contained. It gets the job done, especially for just an ordinary day-to-day drive, that sort of stuff. It makes total sense for a mid-priced SUV like the Equinox EV, where cost and simplicity matter more than ultimate efficiency, but you don't need to cool a 10,000 RPM motor the same way you'd need to cool the tri-motor setup in a Cybertruck, for example. And in other words, GM is using basic physics, Tesla is using precision engineering layered on top of it as well. Both are very, very smart. Munro and Associates described Tesla's method as more technologically groundbreaking, even though it's more complex, and it gives Tesla the ability to fine-tune performance and even cut costs elsewhere inside the motor because of how efficient the system is. Both approaches work, clearly. I don't have any issues. I'm a bit of a fan, to be honest, of the way that Chevy do it with the simple physics. I mean, it's done really, really well for the last 100 years to think like that, so keeping things simple generally works well. But both approaches clearly work. It just depends on the priorities of the vehicle, cost, performance, efficiency, that sort of stuff. And if you want to see actual teardown footage, you can go and check out Munro's channel as well. It's a very interesting channel, especially the Cybertruck or the BYD Shark videos. They're some of my favourites, I think. They show these components up close, and it's fascinating to see how different manufacturers tackle the same problem. So I'll put a link in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate all the people that have supported the channel or been a part of it for the last few months. So yeah, thank you very much. Any comments, just put below, and yeah, you're very welcome to join the channel or just give it a thumbs up if you like the channel.